This is chapter 4 from your textbook. We're on page 73. This case study mentions zebra mussels. Zebra mussels are a famous invasive species in North America. They're native to West Asia and Eastern Europe, but they got brought over on ships that discharged ballast water, which helps stabilize a ship. In that ballast water, there was larvae, so that got released into our Great Lakes. It was able to spread quickly from those Great Lakes to other lakes and rivers in the United States by attaching to boats pulled on land behind trailers. So on the next page, know phytoplankton and zooplankton. Also know these figures and these captions. Zebra mussels are so troublesome because they clog water intake pipes, and they also starve and suffocate native clams. So they pushed out native clams. And the reason why they spread so quickly was also because they didn't have predators and they did not have the competition that they had in Western Asia and Eastern Europe that they co-evolved with for many years. Know interspecific, which means within a species, and interspecific, which means with other species, and also know competition. Know this figure and caption. These graphs are showing the difference between niches. This first niche is a fundamental niche. This is a species that has no checks, no predators, no competition, and is able to thrive, but that's not how it is in a real ecosystem. In an ecosystem, there may be many other species that you're competing with for resources, so your niche is going to be a lot smaller. No resource partitioning. Resource partitioning is how species divide the resources they use with other species or organisms, and this can reduce negative impacts on competition. So for example, a bird that is awake at night will use different resources than a bird that is awake during the day. Or it can also differ in location. So one species or one organism may use resources at the bottom of a tree while another one uses them at the top. Know this figure and caption. This graph is showing the cyclic relationship between predators and prey. When there's a lot of prey, predator population also increases because they have a lot more prey to eat. That prey number will go down because they're being eaten, and in return, the predator, the lynx population, will also go down. So it's a cycle. So now predation, it means to hunt and to kill. Parasitism is different because one species harms another without killing it immediately. The species does not want to kill the other one immediately because it can't benefit from that relationship. Like a tapeworm will stay in your stomach for a long time and it won't kill you, it will just starve you of nutrients. These are some ways to avoid predation. There is camouflage. If you look under this sticky note, that is a yellow jacket, our school mascot. It has coloring to signal that it's dangerous and full of toxic substances. On page 77, no pathogen, no coevolution. Coevolution is how two species evolve in response to another's evolution. So a rabbit may be very fast. Its prey, a lynx, it may evolve to be even faster. It may have an adaptation over time. The rabbit will respond to that, and they will be in an evolutionary arms race, getting faster and faster. Herbivory, no mutualism. So mutualism is a relationship, a symbiotic relationship where two organisms both benefit. So an example is microbes in the gut. Microbes benefit because they get food, but they're also helping us break down food in our gut. Also, coral and algae are both benefiting from those relationships. No symbiosis. Also no commensalism. Commensalism is not in your book, but it is where one species benefits and there's no effect on the other. So an example is clownfish and the anemone. Clownfish has a home to live in the anemone, but the anemone does not benefit. It neither benefits, but it is also not harmed. Allelopathy is another word that's not in your book. It is when plants produce compounds in leaves that are toxic or acidic. So when those leaves drop to the ground, they decompose, they release that toxin or that acid, and that soil is not good for seeds to germinate. So it prevents competition from other organisms. On this page, there is a food chain. Know this figure, all of the terms on this figure as well. Know producers, primary consumers, secondary consumers, and tertiary consumers. So the chain goes in this direction. Usually on food chains, detritivores and decomposers are not on them, but on this one they are, just to show that they consume all dead matter from all organisms. Detritivores are animals that eat decomposed detritus or dead organisms. Saprophytism is getting food and energy from decaying matter. So detritivores perform saprophytism. Know this figure in caption. This is a biomass pyramid, but energy pyramids work the same way. In an ecosystem, producers are going to have the most biomass, or biomass is the collective mass of the living matter in a space, in an ecosystem. So there will be the most producers in an ecosystem. There will be the least amount of tertiary consumers because they don't get as much energy as producers do. So as we go up the pyramid, every step is going to lose 90% of the energy. They're going to have only 10% of the energy each level up. And that aligns with the second law of thermodynamics, which states that 90% of energy that's lost is heat. It's not really lost, it's transformed, but we say it's lost because it's unusable to the ecosystem. They can't use heat. So know this figure in caption. This is a food web. Also notice that the arrows show the energy flow. So the arrows go in the direction of the predator. If you look at the rat snake and the eastern chipmunk, the rat snake eats the chipmunk and the energy goes to the rat snake. So that's important. We're going to move over to page 92 with biomes. This figure is showing the distribution of biomes, where all the different biomes are found in the world. We are included in the temperate grassland, but we have many sub-ecosystems at least in the Houston area. So the distribution of biomes has been different based on climate and how climate has changed. Right now, this is how it looks, but because of climate change, we may see biome distribution changing. If it gets hotter, there may not be as much tundra. There may be more tropical rainforest or desert. That's important to know. Also know this figure, and we're going to study the biome chart in class. Make sure you study that, but there's also some good information in your book. So know this figure in the caption. Where biomes are depends on the temperature and precipitation. As we go up, we get colder in temperature, and as we go to the right, there is more precipitation. So there's tropical rainforest right here. Tundras are cold but also dry. Deserts are dry and they are hot. Also, as altitude increases, this right here is showing latitude. So 0 degrees latitude is the equator. That's where tropical rainforests are. 30 degrees is where deserts are. So latitude is important. because the sun's rays hits the earth differently, but also altitude, which is how high up we are. As altitude increases, like up a mountain, communities change the same way they would with latitude. So up at the top, it's going to be colder, still dry like a tundra. At the bottom, it's going to be warmer like a desert. And as we're going up the mountain, we may see some ecosystems that look like boreal forests. So as we go up in altitude, ecosystems or biomes also change. Here there are climatograms. Climatograms or climatographs or climate graphs are all the same, and they show the temperature and precipitation, which determines what a biome is and what the inhabited plants that live there. So temperate deciduous forest is found in the United States, and temperature is seasonal. It goes up in the summertime, and it's colder in the wintertime. Precipitation, it varies, but the trend is mostly constant. Tropical rainforests, the precipitation is constant, and so is the temperature. It's hot and it's rainy. Alaska has the largest rainforest in the world and the largest old growth forest. That just means that it has never been logged or cut down by humans. There is a desert which has almost no precipitation, and is pretty dry, hot year-round. Temperatures peak in the summertime. Tundra is dry like a forest, but it's cold, and you'll see that there is mostly shrubs. There aren't tall trees because they require more precipitation. Here is a boreal forest. Boreal forests are found mostly in Canada and in Russia. They're cold, but temperature and precipitation also change seasonally. Chaparral is found in Los Angeles. There's also a lot of shrubland. It's dry. It actually gets drier in the summertime. There's less precipitation in the summertime, and the temperature is pretty constant. And fires are prone in chaparrals or in shrublands like savannas or grasslands. All right, that's it for chapter 4.